Welcome to my mountain. I am not sure what I have planned for you today. I suggest we look at the topics that I plan on talking about and figure out some way to choose one. So these are the topics, and as you can see they range all over the place from speculation videos, to fact-based ones. However, there is a series in here so I can't necessarily just pick a number and go with it. I think I have the perfect solution. Let's spin a wheel. Come on tacos. Oops, wrong wheel. As you can see the wheel landed on 19, and while that is a great topic I do want to eventually get into, as my feelings are incredibly strong on this, it is the last video on the series I want to do. So we must spin again. Come on sharks dressed as pigeons. Dang, wrong wheel again. Well, that number isn't even on the list. Number 2. One of the first videos in the series that I want to do on freedom of speech, censorship, and privacy, with the final video being how all three intermingle with each other. Weird how this happened. It's almost like the wheel wanted me to start talking about it. Anyway, as I stated just moments ago, my feelings on this topic are incredibly strong, maybe the strongest feelings I have about anything else, more stronger than my feeling towards spaghetti. And I am an ordained minister of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, so it is a lot. As always for conjecture-based videos, I will have a disclaimer here now.
Nearly everything you hear in this video should be taken as opinion and conjecture and not have any basis in fact. This is purely speculation.
As I started thinking, I thought a good place to start this video would be on some history in the world when it comes to freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And really, it was not long after that I decided to make that a separate video. In that video, I want to go over some of the history in the USA at least, on freedom of speech and then go into some laws dealing with it. This video is mostly going to be about why I think it is important, and maybe some consequences to having laws in our Constitution that protect our right. So enough talking and time wasting and let's get to it, shall we?
1 day later.
I started the script for this video about a day ago. Sure, the beginning is easy, as it is all technically just filler, but what took me so long to even get to the words I'm writing now? This entire section wasn't even planned to be in the video. The answer is, why does it matter? Why is freedom of speech so important to me? Why do I care what I can and can't say? What is it a right I so wholly hold dear in my heart? It is not as if I have, or have ever lived in an oppressionist regime that would kill someone for speaking out against them. It's not like I was thrown in jail for protesting something. It's not like anything I create just for the sake of creating, had been burnt in front of my eyes ruining my life, because the subject matter was deemed unfit for the eyes of society. So why is it, out of all the laws and rules, and everything in our country, why is it that the freedom of speech is the one I hold dear? Honestly, I can't tell you. There really is no reason other than what my own mind has thought through and arrived at, and the arrival at that answer has affected what I believe. Now, as with anyone, I know the benefits of freedom of speech and how it can affect or be affected by society. I know the good and bad of both sides of the argument. But I don't know why it is so important to me. Listening now you may think I am drawing this out to make the video longer, but in all honesty this is strangely confusing to me. Everything else, I know why I hold dear, like my views, privacy and censorship. However, to feel so strongly about something to the point where you would rather give up your life in sacrifice than to live without, what change in my life has driven my mind to take it to such extremes, I may never know, at least not until I turn 40 and have a midlife crisis and all the repressed memories come flooding back. But seriously, I honestly don't care. I know it is important to me, and I know why it is important to the world. Without freedom of speech we can't really have true freedom to do what we want. I honestly think a lot of freedoms people enjoy, around the world, freedom of speech is the most exercised freedom, regardless of whether or not a person is thinking about it, nor where they live. The words I am speaking right now, are contestant to that fact, as well as the words I say to the people I meet on the roadside, and the friends who gather around for a fun time.
1 day later.
Another day has passed, and I'm now writing this portion, and it's getting annoying as I save all my pictures and sound clips to the date I post the video, and I've already had to move them twice. Anyway, I thought more on this and come up with a simple solution, one to better understand my situation, though it does not explain it. I believe in personal freedoms a lot of them. people should have the choice to do what they want when they want for their own reasons, within reason. Freedom of speech is one of those things, and it is easily one of the most easy ones to take away, that would greatly affect the rest of them. Essentially that's the best answer I can give. I suppose I should move on since I can't simplify it any more than that. So why is freedom of speech so important? Simply because it allows us, the people, to be ourselves without fear of oppression from the government. A singer can sing what they want and are not forced to make patriotic songs celebrating the glory of the, insert color here, country. It allows a painter to paint beautiful paintings of whatever their mind's eye can behold, without people who disagree with it forcing him to shut down his studio and destroying his way of life. It allows a musical artists to create beautiful music that can be heard around the world and inspire millions, without having to put political messages into their music. This is the part about freedom of expression. The USA, believe it or not, does not have all-encompassing freedom of speech even though it has been granted to us due to it being the First Amendment in the Constitution. There have been times that the government can suppress news stories, as well as people themselves. There is one case that I will briefly name here, but I want to save for another time in the other video on the topic. It is the Gertz vs. Robert Welsh Incorporated case, in 1974. What this case did was essentially decided that lies can't and will not be protected under the First Amendment. This seems like a great idea. And even I agree, but it puts a twist on an interesting thought. If you think freedom of speech is so good and should never be compromised, is this court case considered compromising? If you allow one exception, why not another or another or another? And yes, this is the slippery slope straw man, but in this case, the courts can set precedents, and in this case, that precedent is, that the First Amendment can be weaseled around for a morally just cause. Notice the wording I used there. It is hard not to wander into certain areas of this topic, because I do plan on making videos for them. The reason I use the morally just comment is because it is a defense of censoring something. Don't want boobs on TV? Think of the children and how you're corrupting them, a morally just standpoint. We don't want people to read Hitler's biography because fascism, morally just point of view. We don't want people to be able to make fun of us ever again because it hurts our feelings, a lackluster approach to it, but still an argument centered on moral justification. Why talk about censorship in an unformulaic video on freedom of speech? Because you are censoring what people can read and say, and that is limiting freedom of speech. There is and always will be a battle over the rights of people, and the fist of the government, and freedom of speech and expression is not a battle we can lose. I think the same can be applied to censorship and privacy laws. But I personally believe humans do have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But people also have a right to freedom from oppressors, and those would want to silence individuals or groups for their own gains, whatever those gains might be. At this point I have said all I think I will and can say for this topic. Again, this is more of an opinion piece than anything. The freedom of speech is a freedom that must never be taken away. And we must always do whatever we can to maintain a tight grasp on that right, or death to us all.